Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, not gonna lie, had a long week, so instead of seeing this Q&A, Dalyxman's Q&A corner on Wednesday, like I said it would be on, you're getting it on Saturday. That's how you know that my week has been pretty rough. But at least you're getting a Q&A. And as always, if you have a question for me, please leave it on my Ask FM page down here and also in the description box. Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Do you think Prince Devitt's new name is just hilarious? I think that's the Finn Balor name. I'm fine with it. Again, I'm not someone who trips over names. It's what you do with the name that matters. Granted, if a name is already over, why not just use that name? Like Kenta. I'm okay with Hideo Itami, excuse me. But Kenta is a lot more well known, so why not keep Kenta? That's my logic behind it. I get the whole idea of, copyright and in case the wrestler wants to leave and stuff like that, we can at least keep this name and make, money off of this name and he can go back to his old name and stuff like that. It's a lot of political issues that I'm not really interested in getting into, but I'm fine with Finn Balor. It's nothing special, but it's nothing bad either. So yeah, do you think Evan Bourne will ever return to WWE? Never say never. I would like to see it. Will you watch TNA Bound for Glory? No. Sorry. I've seen the Bound for Glory card, and even if I wanted to watch it, like if I was still a fan of TNA, which is not gonna happen anytime soon, I still wouldn't want to watch it. For a TNA fan, this is a lame card. I've seen the card. It's like, last I checked, their own world champion isn't even on the card. That should be like a big red flag. Like, what's going on here? What the hell are they doing? So, no, it's not worth watching at all. Are you trying to sweep CM Punk off the earth? No. Guys, listen. I know the whole ordeal with the CM Punk chance, and I'm guessing this is where it's from. CM Punk, to me, like I said, I miss him. I think he's awesome. But I think it's clear that he wants to be left alone. I think it's clear that bringing him up is not going to do anything with the WWE or even with CM Punk himself. I know fans don't want to let other people forget about CM Punk, and I know the tendency of WWE is to pretend that they never existed. But I am so confident in CM Punk himself. I'm so confident in his career and everything he's done as a wrestler that nothing will make us forget about CM Punk. This guy can go away for 5 years and come back, and people will remember him. They will. Whether it's because of the CM Punk chance continuing until then, doesn't really matter. CM Punk is such a great athlete, and he's left such a great impact on the wrestling business that you will never be able to forget about him if you're a wrestling fan. So, no, I'm not trying to sweep him under the earth or make people forget about him or pretend he never existed. It's just, he's CM Punk, and I'm confident that when he returns, everything will be okay. Will ADR ever be a Hall of Famer in WWE? If it happens, cool. If it doesn't, oh well. I mean, this has been said many times before. If Coco Beware can be in the Hall of Fame, so can ADR, a former 4-time world champion. Just saying. On Preston's 4-year anniversary Q&A on Wrestling Paradise, he said you and him will meet up sometime. How long do you think that will be? Well, if it happens, it happens. We do plan to actually meet up one day and, hang out for a WrestleMania or something like that. And that will be a very, very special occasion if it happens. But, we're both very busy, and we both realize that happening anytime soon is highly unlikely. But when we get the opportunity to make that happen, we will make that happen. So there you go. Oh man, what is the worst WWE pay-per-view so far this year? I would have to say, let me see, WrestleMania obviously is still the best. Night of Champions was okay. People crap on Battleground. I didn't think it was all that bad. I thought Money in the Bank was pretty disappointing. I don't know. You know, Extreme Rules. Payback was, Then Elimination Chamber actually had, had a good chamber match. It had a good Shield versus Wyatt match, which actually made it all the more better. I'm going to go with the Royal Rumble. I think the Royal Rumble of 2014, I think that so far is the worst pay-per-view based off of the decision-making that was left on the show. With Batista winning the Royal Rumble, and of course the John Cena and Randy Orton match, which was completely crapped on by the audience. And even though it did have a match of the year contender between Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt, the show pretty much peaked on that match, and then it kind of just fell afterwards. I don't remember anything else on the show besides Cena and Orton, and then the Royal Rumble, which left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going with the Royal Rumble. There you go. Do you think the brand split between Raw and SmackDown could ever make a return? Maybe. I can see it happening. The main reason we had the brand split was because at the time, WWE had WCW performers, ECW performers, plus the WWE talent that were already there. So you had this big roster that you really could not, showcase on one show. So you had to do a brand split and put certain people on SmackDown, certain people on Raw. And even then, the roster was so big that not everybody got TV time. But back then, it made sense to do a brand split. So if the WWE wanted to do it again, the only reason they would have to do it is because their roster would get so big that they would have to put certain talents on certain shows so they would get the necessary TV time and the necessary platform to get over. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it makes no sense. There really isn't enough talent to warrant, 2 shows. Especially when Raw is 3 hours. We can completely scrap SmackDown and put everybody, the people who are actually good enough, on Raw. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my answer to that question. If we do get it back, it will be because we get a big roster. Right now, we don't have a very big roster. What if Bray Wyatt went back to being Husky Harris? It won't happen, but that would be a huge mistake for his career. Bray Wyatt is pretty much the butterfly to the cocoon of Husky Harris, if that makes sense. It's his final form. It's his, oh my god, all these analogies, I'm sorry. It's his fully realized character. And going back to Husky Harris, I think it's just stupid, so there you go. How would you feel about Rusev feuding with someone like Cesaro or Wade Barrett, Bod News Barrett, and then defending their country instead of America? Could be interesting with the right booking, I suppose. I wouldn't be against it. I don't know if it will work, but anything's, possible. Maybe they can make it work. We'll see what happens. Should the Authority stable disband soon? After a while, I think so. Quite frankly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda getting sick of the Authority angle myself. It worked with Daniel Bryan. The dynamic it had with Daniel Bryan being, the corporation trying to keep the little man down because he wasn't fitting the WWE mold. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Bryan actually fit for the perfect protagonist because he literally was everything the WWE did not want or did not look for in a top superstar. And for Triple H and the corporation to try to keep him down and try to go for people like a Randy Orton or John Cena, it created a great dynamic and made for good TV, and it was easy to get invested into because it was believable. Now the Authority is going after John Cena. Why? Because he's a good guy and they're bad guys? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, and people talking about, well, it's creating good TV. How? Do you really believe that the Authority really doesn't like John Cena? He's everything that they want. I can believe it with Dean Ambrose. Yes, I can see the Authority actually trying to keep a guy like Dean Ambrose down and getting behind a Seth Rollins. That makes sense. I can get behind that. But, John Cena? No. Randy Orton? No. Batista? No. These are all guys that I would think, again, the WWE would want them to be in their company. Why would they want to go against them? Or well, John Cena doesn't believe, in how they do things. Well, John Cena isn't necessarily going against that ideology to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, if they're not going to create the right type of protagonist to really go against the Authority, quite frankly, I do think it should be done away with. Unless they continue to bring in people like a Daniel Bryan or a Dean Ambrose who don't fit the mold and who actually can be, the great protagonist to go up against the evil corporation who tell you, you need to be like this, you have to be this type of wrestler, then, yeah, I really don't believe it should be around, to answer your question. How did you make Wrestling Paradise? You know what? I'm going to pretty much copy what me and Preston talked about on Paradise. Actually, no. This is something Preston talked about in his Q&A on Wrestling Paradise. Me and Preston disbanded from the Four Horsemen. It was Eon Izzo, Vocal Aggression, me, Dalyxman, and Preston. We didn't get along. We got into huge arguments. Not going to go into detail what that argument or what those arguments were about. But we split up. We decided to go our separate ways. But me and Preston wanted to still do videos together. So we said, let's just make a duo. And bam, Wrestling Paradise was born. So there you go. Your thoughts on the stipulation added to the Cena Ambrose match? I really don't know what stipulation I would add to that, though. Quite frankly, the stipulation that we have right now is fine. Whoever wins the match gets to face Seth Rollins. That's fine. Don't make it complicated. Don't add steel cage or God forbid Hell in a Cell. I mean, no, let's not overcomplicate it. Let's not make it a hardcore match. Make it a singles match. Make it very, easy to understand that whoever wins this match gets the main event. Don't touch it. Don't overcomplicate it. Leave it like that. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Do you watch SmackDown every Friday, or do you just read the spoilers? I used to watch SmackDown every Friday in 2009. I stopped doing it mid-2010 because I just felt like the show just wasn't worth it. I miss the days when SmackDown had very important storylines and character developments and, actually was treated like a regular show. Now it's pretty much the Velocity of 2014. Remember WWE Velocity? Really good wrestling, but nothing happening on the show. That's what SmackDown is. Nothing's happening on the show. And if it's something that does happen, they just redo it. Like every main event match, usually that happens on SmackDown, gets redone on Raw. Or they just show us what happens on SmackDown on Raw. So, it's not really must-see anymore. So, I just read the spoilers and do something else with that time. Alright, before I end this, there is a question about Brock Lesnar not defending his championship for the rest of the year. That is coming next week. I have a video for that, so stay tuned. I don't want to answer it here because I'm about to run out of time. But I will talk about that next week. Thank you to all the people who sent me your questions. If I did not get to you, I hope to get to your question next week. But this is your boy, Dalyxman, signing off. Peace.